In the midst of Vodafone McLaren Mercedes' notable success on track this season, Lewis Hamilton takes us on an exclusive tour of his Vodafone McLaren Mercedes MP422 race car, explaining in remarkable detail what goes into maintaining the engine and maximising the power of his Grand Prix winning car. One place this is apparent is at the headquarters of the team's technology partner, ExxonMobil, who produce the race fuels and lubricants that are some of the lesser-known reasons for the team's on-track success.
It's been great to have the longevity, that relationship, and working together with them towards my future. As I'm only 22, I've got a long time here, hopefully, and obviously want to see it out with Vodafone McLaren Mercedes. So it's extremely important that we have that relationship and it continues. The vehicle behind me, which is my car, is powered by a Mercedes-Benz 2.4 V8 and produces about 750 brake horsepower. Maximum revs are 19,000 RPM, so it's screaming when you're at the top of the straight pulling 200 miles an hour. And we have a 7-speed transmission, which is extremely quick to get through, but it helps us obviously be extremely quick on the track. Mobil 1 has helped with that by producing the oil, which is extremely efficient in reducing wear, reducing friction, reducing the carbon build-up in the engine. And this helps us to that's why we're winning races. In qualifying, we need to be out straight. We need to be out first, and to do that, you need to get to the end of the pit lane and sit and idle the engine for approximately 3 minutes, and that's a lot longer than any other car is able to do, mainly because the oil reduces the friction, as I said, and the engine sits at high temperature at the end of the pit lane without burning, without causing damage to the engine. So we can sit there for 3 to 5 minutes. We're constantly improving the downforce of the car. And when I mean downforce, if you imagine driving down the road in your car on the motorway at 80 miles an hour, you put your hand out the window. If you point your hand upwards, it pushes it back. If you put it down, facing down, it pushes it down. And so the wings we have obviously are facing downwards, and when we're driving at 200 miles an hour at whatever speed, the force applied to that wing helps improve the grip of the car and helps us get around the corners a lot quicker. So it's important that we're always trying to have more downforce in the car. That's why you see it looks quite flashy, but it's obviously very efficient. We're always trying to reduce drag, so more downforce but less drag, which obviously helps us improve our top speed. So it all starts from the front wing. We've obviously got the huge back wing here and also the front wing, but also other elements on the car which help the airflow all the way through to the rear. But it's just how the air travels over the front wing, through the front tyres, the underneath of the car, and the suction also. We have a very large rear floor, which is air efficient. Basically, the air helps suck the car to the ground. But all that air comes through and also goes onto the big rear wing that we have here. But without that, obviously, we would be sliding around and not being able to take the corners at 150 miles an hour. So the team, as I said, plays a huge role in making sure we step forward and improving air efficiency. The tyre and rule regulations this season in 2007 have changed quite a bit. The tyres made by a single manufacturer, Bridgestone, and we have 4 different compounds which we can use throughout the year. So we have the hard, medium, soft and super soft. Now each weekend Bridgestone allocate 2 compounds. So for example at Melbourne we had the hard and medium. The harder compound is always the prime and the softer compound is always called the option. For qualifying we use the option tyre, but in the race we have to use both compounds. We get allocated 14 sets per weekend, 7 sets of wets. Because we all have exactly the same, we really have to make sure we work hard with the team to develop the car to work well with the tyres. Trying to control the tyres, learning how to drive on the tyres and manage them through the race is key, because if you push too hard, if you slide the car, you damage the tyre, you overheat the tyre, and then obviously your times fall off. So it's all about consistency. So making sure your driving style suits the tyre and you can look after them really helps the performance throughout the race. We have switches from A to H with traction control all the way through to diff control, braking, fuel, mixture for the engine, and also for wet and dry settings. I have my drinks button, I have the pit speed limiter, I have the neutral and for also reverse, have traction control off, so for the beginning of the race or beginning of the parade lap I can turn traction control off and do a burnout to heat the tyres up. We also have the 2 clutch pedals at the back. You can use either, so if we're pulling left out the garage we use the right clutch pedal and vice versa, and also we have up on the right hand side and down for the downshift gears, and so basically one click of that and it changes up or down to a gear within 0.2 of a second. When we go into qualifying, from qualifying onwards through the race, we can't change the setup of the car, so this is the only way I can adjust the setup and help improve the lap time. My first win in Montreal was obviously one to remember, and finally get into Formula 1 and then to eventually get my first Grand Prix win in only my 6th race was definitely not expected, and so the whole build up to it, the amount of pressure I put on myself, the belief my family, the team have had in me to finally get the result, it was just an amazing achievement and very, very emotional, and as I said, a day I will never forget.